What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Project Ozone Lite. Oh yeah, guys. So last episode we were running into some FPS issues and I kept wondering what was going on. I thought it was something to do with this big reactor that we installed, but as it turns out, there was like some weird thing on my computer that was eating up all my CPU and causing the game to lag. So we have a lot better FPS today. Things aren't going to be quite as laggy. I apologize for the quality of last episode because of that. But yeah, we should be all good now. Okay, so our big reactor's been set up. It's been running full blast. We're not trying to like conserve fuel. We're not trying to conserve anything. We're just always on 100% open throttle kind of situation here. We are trying to get ourselves 8 stacks of cyanide so we could turn it into plutonium for the next quest. And if we look at our cyanide, if I type in here, cyanide, we have nearly 10,000 cyanide. So we needed to take this stuff, 8 of those turn into 1 ingot, so we need 8 stacks of cyanide in order to make a stack of plutonium. Easy. All right, so plutonium quest is done. That's awesome. All right, so that was underneath the generation revolution section. So yeah, now that we have a stack of plutonium, we can continue on. Let's do top loot chest today. All right, so ludicrate blocks. This wanted us to create 1 ludicrate block. Now I was talking about, I wasn't sure what we needed the ludicrate stuff for, but I know we needed it. So the ludicrate dust. So you make the block, you turn to ingots, you turn to the dust. The dust looks like it had a use. At least I'm pretty, no, maybe it's the ingot. Yeah, the ingot has a use. Ludicrate ingot plus a carbon block turns into this high covalescence dust. That dust turns into alchemical bags. But the final recipe, the final tab over here shows us that turns into an alchemical chest. So that I knew there was some reason, some like strong reason that we needed it. I couldn't remember what it was. Yeah, we need this high covalescence dust for the alchemical chest, which will allow us to start turning nether stars into other things that have EMC, which is going to be amazing. We'll be looking at that here pretty soon. First things first, let's open this chest. We get ourselves a growth crystal tier 2 ultra rare reward. That's pretty awesome. All right, so the next quest in that section wanted us to make the ludicrate block. What does it take to make that? I didn't even look. It requires plutonium. We have a stack of that stuff. Iridium blocks. This is the thing we're going to have to look at doing here pretty soon. And grains of the end from Ender IO. So that means we need Ender crystals ground down into their dust form. The Ender crystal is once again an Enderman or evolved Enderman plus a Wyvern crystal. All right. So that's something that we'll be able to do. Now off camera here, I've been working on the base a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm 100% happy with it, but we talked about a while ago that I wanted to give us a little bit of color accents, and we decided lime was a color that we were going to use. So I started playing around with some blocks here. Mostly the concrete. So we're using concrete, the solidified version where you place it next to water. This is chiseled, by the way. This isn't vanilla Minecraft concrete. So you place it next to water, you place the powder next to water and it hardens into this and you can mine that. Yeah, so anyway, I'm using the concrete as borders, and if we have to fill in sections, we're using the concrete powder. And I've done that on all the sections of the base here. So we're using, this is like the outlines, and then we have that for our stair, or I guess our little entryways. Yeah, fill in the ceiling here with full of the stuff. I think it looks kind of good. At first I was kind of like, not sure, but I've kind of gotten used to it after looking at it for just a few moments. So yeah, I spent some time doing all of that. And then I've also, inside these rooms here, since there was a border right along this, this wall here, I decided to continue the border along there and then do the outside of the base. And yeah, I think that looks kind of cool as a little lime accent on the inside of the rooms. But that turns out being these kinds of lines around the platform up here, which kind of divides it into sections. I don't know. I think that looks kind of good. It's a lot better than just a solid grid pattern of these stone slabs, right? So let's see. Yeah, this, we had to make this a little bit thicker because of the way the walls were. And if you left this block like that, anyway, You can see that on the inside. So in order to make everything look good, we had to kind of like fill those in. But I still think that looks pretty good, right? It's not bad. So yeah, it gives the base a little bit of color, a little bit better than what we were doing before with just a solid gray. Another thing I've been considering is the outside of the base here. We might continue these lines all the way down, and then, you know, the same lime border along the bottom and stuff. I just kind of wanted to stop before I went too crazy and did everything at once. This is how I was converting the powder into the solid blocks. I just made this ridiculous structure here. So if you take the concrete powder, grab like 2 stacks and a wand, a builder's wand, like so, you can wand that, and then vein mine this, right? So it's like very, very quick to do. There's probably better ways of doing it. That's just the way I decided to do it. And then we're going to be getting rid of this once we have like all the concrete that we need. I was kind of hoping that there would be like an automated way that we could do this using like the fluid transposer from thermal expansion, but it doesn't look like you can do that in this mod pack. So anyway, so yeah, we did a little bit of base building here, got some of that lime accents that I wanted to do. I think it makes the base feel a lot more, I don't know, a lot more finished, I guess is the word you could use here. Apparently a spider can spawn up here. Oop, I thought I had a torch. Torch. All right, fixed. Cool. So anyway, we got that done, which is pretty awesome. So let's start working towards that ludicrite, shall we? So the ludicrite blocks, again, we need the grains of the end. So we need 2 of the end crystals. We don't have any. How are we doing on the soul vials? We have shulker, evolved enderman, and just our shulkers. All right, so we need to capture 1 more of these evolved endermen that are plaguing our base. Boop. Another thing I like to do, I was telling the hermits about this a while ago. People are asking about those evolved endermen, how to get them to stop spawning in the base. I suggested that we could use the Ender IO aversion obelisks, but I haven't gotten around to making those yet. Now that we have all the power from that big reactor, I think it might be time that we start doing that, and hopefully getting these guys to stop spawning around the base. I think that would probably be the best thing that we can do. All right, so we needed to get ourselves a vibrant crystal or 2, probably 2, since we need 2 of the grains at the end. All right, so we can do that. Go down a couple floors over here, and this plus 1 of those, and this and this and 1 of those. All right, so now we should have those 2 things in here. Do we have to do it through the sag mill? I'm not entirely sure. Ender crystal. Let's put it through the sag mill. Perfect. Okay, so we have those. Now, what was the final thing that we needed here for this thing? Iridium. So the iridium is a thing that we're having a problem with. We were able to get iridium chunks somehow. I don't remember how we got this, but we were able to get them somehow. We had to do something special. Maybe it's from like end stone that we sifted, or I don't know. But what I want to do is go ahead and pulverize this, get a lot more of the iridium. Yeah, something like that. We'll just go ahead and do one of these numbers here. So that should just pull in all the iridium dust and smelt it down. I wanted to make the iridium seeds. Apparently caps lock is on. And I tried making this earlier, and we said that we didn't have enough iridium, and I wasn't really sure what to do about that, but it looks like we are good now. So let's go ahead and start that up. That only requires 4 of the iridium ingots. So yeah, we should have some extras here, and then this should finish up very shortly. There it is. All right, cool. So now that we have those, we can go ahead and take those over to our farming area, which I've been spending just a little bit of time at. I've been making some of those seeds that I made patterns for before. So things like electrical steel, the other alloys and stuff from Ender IO. We have signalum and enderium seeds going from thermal expansion. A lot of these things that I said that I wanted to set up like 1 seed per each of these. Yeah, I went ahead and I set these up. So now we have all of these going on. Another problem we were running into with this setup, every now and then you'll notice that there's like items popping off and landing on the ground. The harvester, what is this thing? The farming station cannot pick those items up. Like if they land on the ground, they pop off into the world as an entity. the farming station doesn't know anything about that. So we were getting items all over the ground. As I was standing here with the magnet, I kept picking up items. I was like, what the heck is going on? Well, what I think is going on is every now and then this thing fills up, and it might even be the internal inventory of our farming thing, which is less, as 6 spots available. So either way, something was backing up. So I ended up getting ourselves an advanced item collector, setting it on just a fairly small area. It's 4x3x4. And that is going to pick up items on the ground as they pop off and stick them back into our dimensional transceiver. Now, I think what might be a better thing to do, possibly, if it is this thing that's causing a problem, we might have like more extraction points coming out of there, but it might even be a better idea, instead of going back into the dimensional transceiver, to make ourselves an ender chest, possibly. That way we have a lot more room. I don't know. But anyway, we'll go and plant this guy here, and we will start getting iridium all the time now from our mystical agriculture. We can look at iridium. Yeah, now we're getting the essence. The uses on that, how many of these does it take to make an ingot uses? So we need 8 of those to make 2. So 4 per essence per ingot. That's not bad. Okay, so anyway, we will now have all of the iridium going forward. We don't have to worry about however it was we got through the iridium chunks before. It doesn't really matter, because now we have all of the iridium we're ever going to need. So now we can go back to the base. We can start working on the other parts of this that we need. Man, it feels so good having the FPS back to normal. I tell you what, I couldn't figure out what was going on yesterday. That was really driving me nuts. Like, tried restarting the pack a few times, and anyway, let's make some iridium blocks here, and then we can do our looter crate, and there it is. Cool. So that should complete the quest. Yes, looter crate blocks. Which one were we doing today? Was it the top one? I think it was the top one. If not, we're doing the top one now. Okay, so that's done. And then finally, we needed this quest here, reactor upgraded. So this wants us to make all of the stuff to turn it into a steam producing generator, and then a turbine to produce power, which we could do. I think that one big reactor, extreme reactor we have here, could probably power 8 to 12 turbines, I think, if we wanted to go that route. But that's like a lot more multi-block structures to set up and all of that kind of stuff. So I think we're going to leave it just the way it is. And if we need more power later on, we'll probably just go with solars. Let's open this. So we get flask of magma skin. All right. So convalescence powder is what we're going to end up turning this looter crate into. We'll look at that a little bit later. Okay. So going back to the quest book, we could start working on this. There's also the draconic evolution stuff that I want to start looking at. We set up the draconium essence last time, those draconium seeds, and I camped it for a little while until we got extra seeds, and I planted a whole bunch of those, and we had like over, I don't remember, like 300,000 draconium essence. I've turned a lot of that into ingots, right? You can see how many of the seeds that we've collected now since the last episode, 90,000 of them. So yeah, we had a whole lot of this stuff. I converted it down to the ingots. We don't have to worry about draconium anymore. Yeah, the mystical agriculture really makes a lot of this stuff quite easy. So we were trying to work on the draconic evolution stuff last time, and we saw that we needed a whole lot of draconium. So Wyvern fusion crafting injectors, for instance, this very first item here required our Wyvern cores and draconic cores, and each of the draconic cores required 4 of the draconium ingots, and we weren't going to be able to do that. So in order to start upgrading the first tier to the second tier, we need at least 8 of the basic ones, these basic fusion crafting injectors. We were able to make 1, and then I saw that I was like, we won't be able to make the rest of those. So we are going to need the draconium blocks and stuff. I don't think I set up a recipe to create those things. We should probably do that and craft up the other 11 of those that we're gonna need. Let's see, what are we missing? Draconium blocks. Let's make a recipe for that. Put 1 block in the system. And then do we have everything else? Maybe I already made the block. Draconium, is that a recipe? No. Okay, so we'll make a recipe for that. Did I make a recipe for the draconic core? No. I did realize after last episode, though, that we've gotten a few of these as rewards, even though I crafted up a bunch of those. So yeah, we have extras of those things now. Okay, so let's put that here. We'll put that here. And then we should be able to craft up the basic Wyvern or fusion crafting injectors. Not 11 of those. We needed 9 more. 9 more. No, that's even wrong. We need 8 more. 7 more. One of these times I'm going to say the right number. 7 of those. We need a total of 8 of those to go to the next tier. So let's start that up. All right, so there we go. There is all 8 of the basic fusion crafting injectors. We'll need 1 more actually to start the craft because we have to put an item in, and we need 8 of these to do the craft. So we do in fact need 9 of those. And there we go. Okay, awesome. So now we got to figure out how we're going to get this thing all hooked up. So we need to provide power to this, and then we have to put items in, and then we also need the fusion crafting thing. This guy. I don't remember. Did we make that? We did make that. Okay, so 8 of those plus this go in the world. These get provided power. One of these gets dropped into the crafting core, and then we can upgrade them and start that process. Okay, I'm going to start working on that real quick. I'll find a spot for those so we can start the fusion crafting, and then we'll be right back. All right, guys, so we set up our fusion crafting core and we set up our basic fusion crafting injectors. Now, the way this works, if you haven't seen this before, you have to have the core, and then the injectors have to be 1 block lower or 1 block higher, side to side, etc. So you can have like a 3x3 on any cardinal direction that'll provide items to the core. Now, the thing is, they have to have the exact amount of items in each of the injectors for the recipe to succeed. If you put too many items in, then it'll fail. If you put too little in, then it'll fail, right? So if we're going to automate this, which we are, we have to do some kind of trickery here in order to get this thing to work. Okay, so we're going to be using Ender IO conduits because they seem to be the best and the most compact for what our purpose is. So the idea is we want the one specific item that we're crafting to go in here, but not over there. And then we want all of the other items for the craft, 1 each, to go into any one of these, just as long as there's only 1 of them and it's the correct amount of items. On the back of our basic fusion crafting injectors, we just have item conduits here, and they're providing power through the energy ones, and they're providing items through the item one. There's nothing special here. We just have the item set to insert, and then the energy conduit, I think, set to insert. That last part doesn't really matter that much. This one right here, though, we have it set to in out. We're inserting on the green. We are extracting on the brown. That should be always active. I don't know why that was set to never active. So yeah, always active, extract on the brown. The way this should work is you put the craft item in here, it starts crafting, and then an output slot, which you can kind of see if you hover over it, is here. That's where the extraction point is. So if you're always extracting, you're never going to extract this item, only the completed item. So yeah, we can leave that extracting all the time. Okay, so underneath we have a little bit of complicated stuff going on. We're going to set this up to be automated through applied energistics, and I'll kind of walk you through what we're going to do here. So the interface is going to push all the items into this chest, right? We're going to extract out all of the items, where we'll just blacklist the items that we want to go up into the crafter itself, but we'll extract all the items here. So the items that are blacklisted go this way. We have an item conduit speed downgrade here. This way we should only extract 1 item at a time, reduces speed to 1 item per extraction. We should only extract 1 item from the chest at a time. And then we have this set to round robin enabled. So it should go to, it should try and put 1 item into each of those crafting injectors up above, right? So that should be the only crazy thing that we have here. The only thing that needs explaining. And then we're using advanced item filter so we can have multiple recipes. I really don't know how many recipes we're going to have here, but we are blacklisting a slime ball. So a slime ball is going to go into the chest along with all the other recipes for the craft. What we're going to do on the ME interface here, I don't know why that's on the config. This ME interface, we're going to set this to blocking mode. Do not push crafting items if inventory contains items. So what that means is it'll push a recipe in here. We'll have all the items in this chest, including a slime ball for that recipe. We're blacklisting the slime ball here, and then we're whitelisting items that are going up into the fusion crafter here. But that slime ball will just sit there. All the other items will go there. Now, you can use any other item you want, just as long as it's not part of the normal crafting recipes. I'm choosing a slime ball for this particular instance just because that's what I've used in the past before. If you can use like a piece of cobblestone if you wanted to, as long as that's not a part of the crafting recipes. But anyway, it just has to be some kind of item that's going to prevent this interface from pushing the next recipe in. Again, if it pushes more than one recipe in there, we'll have too many items and the craft will fail, right? Okay, so that slime ball just makes it one recipe at a time. Right, so on this side of the chest, we are extracting out of the chest. We're going to whitelist the main item that we want to go into the fusion crafter. So that'll go on the green channel. We're extracting on green all the way up into here. Once again, we're inserting on green. When the craft completes, we're extracting on the brown channel. Okay, so the brown channel will come back down here and go into a vanilla hopper. Now, the reason why we're doing a vanilla hopper here is because we want to get a redstone signal when the craft completes. So the item gets put into the hopper. This comparator looks at the hopper and is like, oh, we have an item. Let's emit a redstone signal. And then that item just continues on into the interface right there, completing the applied energistics portion of this. So what's going to happen then is that redstone signal goes from the comparator into this repeater, which we'll put on 4 ticks just to extend the strength, into this conduit, the redstone conduit here. The redstone conduit is going to apply a redstone signal to this vanilla hopper, which locks it so no further items can go into it. Or I'm sorry, it won't extract any items. That's what I meant to say. It's also going to apply a redstone signal to this resonant retriever on the item duct here. We're using item ducts because we want to make sure that we can only extract one item, right? So on the resonant retriever, we are whitelisting slime ball. We have this set to, instead of infinite, 1, right? Max total items in inventory. We're also switching the stack size. By default, we're at 64. We switch this all the way down to 1. So it'll only pull one item at a time. We only want to make sure one item is in that inventory, right? So redstone signal on, pull one slime ball and puts it into the hopper. This redstone signal stops the hopper from doing anything. When the repeater here turns off, it stops pulling items. The hopper is free to put that slime ball back into the interface and we can reuse it for later. So when that slime ball gets extracted out through that redstone signal, the next recipe gets pushed into this chest, including a slime ball. That's why you want to make sure this thing is set to only pull 1 and only 1. Otherwise, you'll pull the slime ball for the next recipe and then that clogs up the whole thing and it just becomes a mess. Okay, so I haven't tried this particular setup yet, but I have set up this particular style of a auto craft before, so I'm fairly confident this is going to work. I think that's pretty much all we need to get this thing going here. The last thing is obviously we have to connect this up to our applied energistics network. I'm not sure. I think our big reactors on this side over here. We might just run a cable over here and around and then over here. There's really not a good way to get that applied energistics over here to get that connected. So we'll figure out that particular thing here in a second. But to get a recipe set up for this crafting, let's set one up right now to turn the basic fusion crafting into the Wyvern ones. Let's do that. Okay, so we'll make a processing pattern here. We'll clear this out. And then let's look at the fusion crafting injectors. So to make a Wyvern one, we are going to need the basic fusion crafting 4 stars. We'll grab 4 stars here. I did notice that the 64 stars that we got as a reward are a different nether star than these. I don't know what the difference are. This one does not show the stack EMC for some reason. This one does. I don't know. They have they both have the same EMC value. They both say they're from Minecraft. I have no idea. Anyway, so 4 stars, we need a draconium block. Craft one of those up. Okay. We're gonna need the Wyvern or the basic crafting injector. And then what else? We need 2 draconic cores and a Wyvern core. The Wyvern core is crafted through this thing as well. So I guess that's probably going to be our first testing craft. So we'll get everything set up except for that particular item. So let's do draconic cores. We need 2 of those. And then of course the slime ball. So we're going to save this recipe. We're going to say this is just going to make slime boots for now, just so we can encode the pattern. This recipe is incomplete and it doesn't make slime boots, but we're just saving it for later. So we need to do the Wyvern core. I didn't even realize we had to do this one. So we need 5 draconic cores. This will be our first craft then. 5 of these. Okay. Then we need 2 draconium blocks. And 2 stars. Get rid of that. What goes in the center here? A block of emerald. Okay, so all of that is what we need. In fact, I need this to set the blacklist, whitelist on the thing. Again, we don't have a proper item. We don't have a Wyvern core in order to set the recipe. So let's say that'll make an emerald horse armor. Okay, so we can take this guy, stick that over into the interface, and then we can tell the system to craft an emerald horse armor, which will actually craft up the Wyvern thing. But yeah, we can just do that for now. Okay, so we have the recipe set up there. I need to run the applied energistics. Let me do that real quick, and then we'll be right back and test this out. All right, guys, so I went ahead and I added in another P2P tunnel here with an ME dense cable on this side instead of running the cable all the way around, right? I just thought it made more sense to do it this way. So yeah, we have our applied energistics connected up over here right into the interface. And if we look in the terminal here, we do Emerald Horse Armor, and we middle click on it, it does show that we have the recipe, so we can tell for sure that that interface is set up. So now the test is this. Let's try and make an Emerald Horse Armor. Let's make sure this is gonna work. All right, so next, and then start. I haven't tried this yet. Hopefully everything works. Looks like things are going pretty good. Aha, we did forget one little thing. This guy right here does require a redstone signal in order to work. So we can get ourselves a timer. Our redstone clock. This guy. This will work. Let's craft up one of those. Yep, that's an important step to this. It does need a redstone signal in order to start the craft. So we can leave that right here. That'll apply a redstone signal to it if all the recipes are correct, and it should start going. So why is this not going? So we want to make Emerald Horse Armor. Let's go back to our recipe here. If we say next, it'll show us all the items. So we want a block of emerald, which we have here. We want 5 draconic cores, 2 stars, and 2 draconium blocks. Okay, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 items. We don't have enough of these. So let me grab the injector. We still have this one. So if I place that right in the center, I'm probably going to have to configure the item cable in the back here. I have it set on the conduit probe. So just a simple right click should allow that last item to go here. Although it might have stacked up, you can't put more than one item into this. So this one has 2, right? So let's place that here. This one here. Now it's going to work. Okay, so we need one more crafting injector because that requires 9 items instead of 8. So that should allow us to craft our Wyvern core. It's charging it pretty slowly. I would like to see faster charge up times, which means we're going to need more power going into these things. And I'm not exactly sure how we're going to accomplish that. Yeah, we'll have to look at power transfer here in a little bit to see if we can get this to go faster. But anyway, you can see that the craft is now completing. Let's go make sure this all works on the bottom side. We'll hear it in a second. Maybe. Redstone. And it did not pull the slime ball. So this needs a redstone signal for a little bit longer. So yeah, we're still in the process of making sure this works. So we'll probably need another repeater, maybe 2, in order to provide this thing a long enough redstone signal to get that slime ball out of there. So I'll play around with this for a little bit. I'll craft up a few more of those things just to make sure we can get this going right, but that's a general idea. So I've been fiddling around with the redstone a little bit here, trying to perfect this, and I think this is probably about the best setup. So we have the hopper here, which is going to get the completed item, going into a comparator, going into a repeater on the 4 ticks, right? This repeater goes into a solid block, which goes into another repeater, which goes into another solid block. So on the red channel here for the redstone conduit, we're pulling the signal out of this block and this block at the same time. So we're doing a pulse lengthener is essentially what we're doing. So this stays on for the entire time both repeaters have a signal, or either one, I should say. So that's going to provide the redstone signal to the retriever and the hopper at the same time, locking the hopper, pulling one item. I wanted to make sure the signal strength is long enough so it was pulling that slime ball every time. I was having problems where it wasn't. So yeah, so we pull one slime ball, we're locking the hopper. As soon as the redstone signal drops off for the retriever, that drops off for the hopper too, allowing that slime ball through. So I've been sitting here testing this, making sure this works. So since I'm hovering over this hopper here, I can right click onto the chest and see we have slime balls in here. If I queue any item, it'll go into that hopper and then it pulls a slime ball, right? So I've been testing this to make sure we pull one and only one slime ball every single time. And it seems like we have a pretty solid setup here. Yeah, before it's getting a little inconsistent. Sometimes it would not pull one, sometimes it'd pull multiple. But I think we should be good to go at this point with this particular setup. So I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so now we can go ahead and tell the system to make our slime boots and finally get ourselves a wyvern tier. Oh, that's where all that redstone went. Yeah, I was throwing things in there a while ago. Instead of using slime ball as my test item, I was throwing other things in there. I was like, wait, it's still pulling out even though there's no redstone signal. What's going on? Yeah, that's because we had the whitelist and it was, or I guess the blacklist on the slime ball, and it pulls everything but those. Whoops. Okay, so anyway, those are all clear. There's nothing in the chest down there. Let's make slime boots and make sure everything works. So it's gonna say it's gonna make slime boots, but that's actually the wyvern tier. So let's just make sure everything goes in where it should. Recipe starts up. Looks like we are pretty much good to go. It still does take a while to charge up. We need to get more power over here faster. That's one of the things that's going to be holding us back from doing this. But if everything's automated, like we can just queue up a bunch of recipes, you know, go take a break for a while and come back and have everything done as well. So that's the other thing. So let's make sure we have a slime ball here and that the slime ball gets removed. Should be able to see the redstone go off this time properly. Anytime now, craft. There goes the redstone signal and slime ball removed. Awesome. Okay, now Applied Energistics is still waiting for a pair of slime boots to come into the system, so this craft didn't complete, so we'll cancel that since we're not actually making slime boots. We'll grab our recipe from down here, and then we'll get our wyvern injector, and we'll set the recipe properly. Place that back here. Injector. There, done. Cool. So now when we put this thing back into the system, we should be able to queue up however many more we need. How many did we need? I don't remember. Probably at least 9 of them, so we can replace all of these. And then we might end up needing to make a whole second set of this thing for other recipes that won't work automatically. Some recipes for this require a specific item in here to be crafted. Some other recipes require that item that goes in here over onto the injectors to be crafted. So those two recipes kind of conflict with each other with this type of a setup. So we would have to set up a completely new standalone thing, injector. Let's go ahead and craft up 8 more of these things. We'll just assume that we're going to need another set of these. So if I click next, it says we need all of this stuff. It's going to craft up 8 more of those. Oh, actually, no, I wanted 8 more of these. There we go. Okay, so it says we're missing the draconic cores. Didn't we make a recipe for draconic cores? I thought we did. Maybe that's one of the recipes we are missing. So once we get that recipe in there, we should be good. Draconic core. There you go. Let's add that recipe in here somewhere. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it. It doesn't really matter. And we'll put it right next to our draconium. Okay. So once again, we'll craft these things up. Injector. Let's do 8 of those. Looks like everything's satisfied. Start it up. So we should start crafting up each one of these. And as that completes, the next one should go in and it should start up automatically. Remove the slime ball, allow the next recipe in, etc. until we're completely 100% done here. So guys, I think we're going to go and wrap the episode up here for today. Getting the fusion crafting done automatically, definitely a great thing for us to do here. These recipes take a long time, and I don't think without an acceleration wand, which I don't believe is in this mod pack, there's any way for us to speed this process up. Yeah, right now when it's doing this crafting thing, you can use an acceleration wand to make that go a lot faster. We did that in FTB Beyond, or was it Sky Factory? One of those two. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that's in this pack. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on the episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.